America, and today I'm going to show you how to finish up this crucifix necklace. I put, there's one more that goes in the middle of this that tells what this necklace means. So I have a stone that is red labradorite. It is 6.17 by 4.88 by 3.27, and it is 0.59 carats, and it is worth $1,586, I think. I don't know, I put it in the last one. I had just looked at the paper that tells how much it costs. It likes the moon, though, I know that much, because it gets redder whenever I put it in the, if I put it in the moon and bring it in, it gets redder for about 3 or 4 days. So I have 6 inches of 18 gauge round wire, and I'm going to take it and bezel this with a new way that I have learned how to do settings. I may need to use the other ones, but I'm going to start out with the bail making pliers just to start the curve out or whatever for the top half. Now it is an oval stone, but it's pretty small, so I don't know if I can get this big gauge to fit, but I'm going to try because I've done it once before with the large gauge and it looked pretty nice. So I just laid it down here, and I'm going to fit the wire around it. But I can try and fix it to where you guys can see as well. Jeez. Excuse me. So I'm just going to squeeze this together until it begins to start to fit around the stone. And then I need the first loop has to be smaller than the stone, and the second loop does too. Oops. So now the stone just sits in it like that. And then I'm going to use the round nose pliers to do the other loop. Where'd that go? Do you see it anywhere, John? Don't step on it. It bounced over. I'll be right back. I have to go on a stone hunt because it flew over there. Thank you. So good at finding things. Okay. So I'm just going to line it up on top of this, and then I'll mark. Well, the kids stole my marker, so I'll use this all, and then mark it on both sides. So I'm just going to push these up in there as far as they'll go, just gently. And then I'll just bring it on around. And once I get this loop fixed, I'll be able to just do the other one real fast. And then it's just going to sit right down in there. So I got this just a little bit too long. So I'm just squeezing it together a little bit. So that's about the right size. And then I'll just go ahead and bring the rest of it around. This may be a bit too thick of wire, so I might have to change it out. So if I change it out, I'll probably change it to 20 gauge round wire or 24 gauge square. Like if it looks too chunky. That last episode, that's pretty deep, ain't it? Sorry. I just tried to see if I could pop this in here. And so when I'm done, it's going to sit right down in there. And it's so thick it's covering the stone, so I'll probably go with the smaller gauge. .22 gauge square is what I'm going to use because it's a bit bigger than 24. So I'll cut about 4 inches off of this. I'm just, eyeballing it. This one's already tarnished because I left it out of my safe. If I put them in my safe, then it doesn't, it's got like some kind of air controller or something in there, and it doesn't get as much moisture. And if you live in a real harsh, like moisture rich environment, it's not harsh to be moisture rich environment, but if you live in one, then it'll tarnish faster and turn black on you. But then you can polish it, and then it gets shiny again. Anyways, so I'm gonna go about halfway up and then bend that around and see if that fits, because I'm pretty sure it will. Oops. I need to delete that other video and just upload the one without interference. So I need to be right back for just about 3 minutes. I'm going to go to the ladies' room. So I've been writing down my experiences and things like that, and then I will probably upload those too, like as they come or whatever. So I'm just going to place the stone on here and kind of eyeball it to see right about where I need to bend. So there's a M on my hand, and it has a cross inside of a triangle. And anyways, that's where I got the inspiration to make this necklace. And I also have one on this hand, and some other letters and symbols and stuff everywhere. I think we're all born with symbols on our hands. We don't even know it. pretty heavy. I like heavy and mystical, right? Do you like heavy and mystical? Hey. Oh, hey, I've never made one of those. I should make a roach clip. Be a nice one, huh? Because I know how to make, I know how, I could. Like a sterling silver roach clip, y'all. Oh, I know this lady, she wraps Changa pipes. She wraps those in sterling silver. She does a pretty good job, but I don't know if she does any work anymore. So now we're left with these two tail ends here, and that is what is going to connect the stone to the jewelry. When we do that, it will level itself out. But I need one of these wires to be on the opposite side somehow. So I'm just going to do some adjusting. So I saved 2/4 of my medicine in 3 days of that one, the one kind. And I'm also going to do a video on how I lost all my weight and how I can still burn fat, even if I'm riding in a car for a few months. As once you get down to where you want to be physically, you can stop for a little while, but then you have to start back or you start gaining weight back. If you're interested in any of that. I wasn't even interested in it. I didn't even want, but I didn't have a choice. You know? I was interested in it. I don't mind. I like the way I am. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and bend this over. And then I'm going to do the same on this side, but I'll do that once I get this onto the cross. And then I'll be able to like reshape it. So I'm just going to wrap it around the cross. And then we'll put some cool designs in the little tail ends here. And then I'll wrap it around this side. And once you do that, it should secure your stone into place. Just like so. I explained what the triangle is that I want to make. So I'm going to do a base for the triangle. And it's going to wrap the crucifix in protection, right? So it's symbol, whoops! Ah! Pay attention to which one's up and which one's down, right? But anyways, I'm going to make a base frame for the triangle, and then we're going to wrap these around that base frame. And I'm going to try and incorporate 2 M's into the bail because this is going to be my personal cross. And then I'll be making one more for someone pretty special as a gift. What's that alarm for? It didn't have a label. I know the 7 o'clock one is to record, but so when we make the frame, I might take some more of my 18 gauge. I don't have very much of it left, but we need it, so breathe. What did I do with it? I just had that thing. It's like a big old long wire of 18 gauge. Some freaking wire. That's wire solder. We don't need wire solder. I almost used almost all my silver. I have Argentinium silver left, but I'm not sure about working with pure silver. I like working with pure silver, but if you mess up, you cannot mess up with Argentinium or like the 999, I think. And then there's fine silver. The higher you go, the more pure silver it is, and the less leniency you have for working with it. Because like the wire I have now is half hard, which means it's annealed halfway, and that gives us room to bend it so that it doesn't break with the 925. But with the Argentinium, I noticed if I messed up, it would break in half. Like the first time I messed up with it, it would break in half. So be careful with it, or anneal it before you use it. John, I've lost my 18 gauge wire. I have no idea. I've got 20 gauge, but I need the big wire because it's going to wrap. It's just a string of wire. I just had it. Did I lay it on the bed? I don't have another one. That's all I have. Right here. I cut it right here. Did it go and like disappear into the abyss? Should pop back. Silver. There it is. I found it. I swear putting chapstick on makes my lips worse. Okay. So I'm just gonna cut about 7 inches, I guess. 7 or 8 inches of 18 gauge. I left my bench block in the window and it like rusted because it's steel, but I can still use it after I use sandpaper on it because it like smooths the surface back, because like if it rusts, and it's going to leave indentions in your metal. So if your bench pen rusts like mine, make sure you use some steel wool, 0000 steel wool on it, or like some sandpaper that's medium grit to make sure that there aren't any burrs or puddles, because you can get puddles and then it will show up on the wire when you hammer it. So yeah. So what I'm going to do is I'll divide this wire in half. Darn, I need a marker. So I'll make the bottom of the triangle about 1 inch on each side, or 1/2 inch if you're making a small one. So I'm going down to the 7 inches, and then I'll go here, and then that is going to cut this wire in half, and then I can mark the center mark. That's just how I do it. I'm a weirdo. I know there's probably an easier way to do it, but that's just the way I do it. And then I'm going to make sure that I've got an inch on each side. And then I will put the center mark is going to go on the bottom of the cross here. It's going to go right here. So shoot. And while keeping this wire straight, I'm going to put my pliers in front of the mark, not on it, because if you put it on it, then it's not going to bend on the mark because of the mass of the wire. And on the opposite side, I'm going to put my pliers on the inside of the mark, which is towards that center mark there. And then I will bend up in the same direction. Now, this triangle represents Eve and Earth and humanity, right? I'm going to make one with the elements in it too. I may add those in later on. I don't know. Because I can add stuff in as I go. So I'm just going to put the cross in the center of this triangle. And I'll just center everything up. So I'm going to make sure that I put it on the front, right up underneath that where we bent those wires up in the last episode. Or episode before last. And then make sure that they are going up in at the right angle. So fascinating. Like this. I might have to bend them up just a hair. So it's already starting to work hard, and I am using half hard, but it'll work hard as I go. So I'll probably connect it and then hammer any parts in between, and it'll give it a cool look too, y'all. I'm gonna take like a 2-minute break for a second, and then I will be right back. Where I lost like a lot of weight, it'll take my skin a few, I'd say about a year to, these are stretch marks. I don't think I'll ever get rid of those, but it'll take about a year for my skin to go down because I lost weight pretty fast. And I was coming down off of a prescription medication at the same time. So I'm just going to take this setting wire on around one more time, and then I will trim those ends up because they're going to get in the way. Or point them up. So I'm just going to trim these ends real quick. And these, well, they're not going to be soldered, but they will be like pressed up against the design. You could also take and swirl them, but I don't because my hair gets stuck in swirls. So I have a new way of making swirls, but that's just going to be like in a different short video. So all I'm doing is these, I'm just going to make sure that these are nice and tight up against this frame so that they don't move and they work hardened as I am applying them. So I'll just start with the bottom of this. So I want it to go like this, I guess. And it has to be centered. So on this center point right here, just to get everything started, I am going to bring these wires up. And then bring them over. And then I'll bring these up. And then over. So they're starting to look like this. Make sure you can see that. Is this hooked up to the 5G, John? Yeah. Okay. So I want to make sure that this wire is sitting right in there and it's not wanting to cooperate. I'll just bring this through. And then I'll bring this one through. Make sure it's centered before you bring them on through anywhere else. And then I'm going to bring them around. And this one, I'm going to bring it up through. Bring it up through there. John, will you check on Crystal? She might be done. And then I'll just keep bringing those around and make sure that they are secure on this wire here. Make sure that this is even. I'm going to go ahead and center this as good as I can, and then I'll bring this wire around the top, and then this wire around this top wire here, and then I will smooth these out with my pliers. And I have to bring these around. Crystal's so smart. And then this one goes through here. And then I'm just going to fidget with these until I get them in the right spot. Crystal! Bottle water. She there. She there. I guess I need to type some of this stuff out. That way I can keep a nice timeline going. I did in the last live though, to explain what everything represents in this necklace. She just ate. I just ate. Her boyfriend cat lives with here too, and his name is Worm. Because he does this with his tail like all the time. She's just in a bad mood. Crystal is in a bad mood today. So I'm just going to start bringing these wires in. And then I'll fold it right here. And I'll just keep bringing these in. I may have to end my live, but I'll start back soon. So I'm going to do the same thing on this side. I cannot wait till I can get her spayed. You know what? We have too many boy cats around here, and I can't afford kittens. I love kittens, but the world is tough right now for us, so and it's like that for everybody, I believe. And so I'm just going to keep bringing these in, and then this last one, I'll probably bring it on around. Here, let me go ahead and do this. So I'm going to bring it around one more time. I'm going to get this one out of the way real quick. So it's going to be a smaller loop. It would explain a lot. You know what happened would explain a lot. And with the time thing, because of all the other happenings that have been happening in the world. probably see why, because of past events that have happened, you probably see why somebody would be scared to, say anything about that. I see that we seen Odin too, I think, or that which one is that? Horus, Odin. Odin gives gifts to help. I thought that was pretty cool. You know what, babe?
What?
Odin gives gifts to help in life. Usually the gods don't get along, but I believe they're going to get along for this because they said they were. There's also been some really cool astrological events happening lately, you guys. If you look for them. Oops. So this is starting to work hard and get to where I can't hardly bend it. So I'm going to probably end this weave and then begin on, or wrap and begin on this one, so that I can go ahead and get this one finished, because I do have to get a few more things out, like some shorts and one other video that may explain what I tried to explain last time just a little better, because I had my book with me. John's trying to learn coding, so he's back here growling. Do you need help? So I'm just going to hold this and bring those wires in. Boy, my voice has stopped up today, y'all. And then this one, I just want it to go around and then back around this base wire here. I don't think I'm going to have to hammer anything because it looks pretty sturdy to me. Oof. So I want this one to be like a smaller loop. Jersey got a flea? Flea, dog, flea. Flea. Jersey got a flea. Jersey got a flea. She is so bad. Make it, don't let it bite its hair off. It's like really work hardened because it's a short wire here, but it should come on around with no problem. I was scared to tell anybody that, you know, John? What I told them in the last live. But that's what this necklace is representing, so I had to explain what it was in order for them to know what, you know, what it represented. So the tips of this wire, it work hardens really nicely so that you know that it's sturdy. It's made very, very sturdy. Oh boy. I think I'm just going to trim the ends. I'll add a wire on to do this whirly things. Things like this happen sometimes, but you just got to keep going. Don't get discouraged, because it takes practice to do just about anything in this world. Oh boy. What? Yeah, here in just a second. John's doing his school, and then I'm doing my live. John, will you go look?
What?
See if her phone's in Tristan's room. Yeah. I guess. I don't know. He's 16, so probably. Mama, I'm live. My mom's on the stairs and she's talking to me and John. I don't know if you can hear her on this camera or not, but they're after her phone in my son's room. So I need to take a break for a second, and then I'll do one more. I don't need to do one more though, but I do need to take a break. So If you're watching, I just need a minute. Hi, Rosalie. Hey, B. If that last live got deleted, I'm just gonna die. Where the freak did it go? I ended it, I'm sure. I have to edit my last live because the title of it, I need to change it. Whenever I found that out, I'm just like, well, we will just stay, together as much as possible and just try and be as happy as possible and do whatever makes us happy, you know what? Because life is too short. Oh, jeez. That cracks me up. So when I start messing up, I like to take a break and walk away from the piece that I'm working on because I will often mess up if I don't. I will put the link in the description box below, or I will link it up here in the thing. Come on. So I need to tighten these wires up back here because they're pushing the crucifix up. There's also one more symbol that stands for the Creator God, which dates all the way back to Africa, and I'm going to try and make that one in the next tutorial. Or maybe make a necklace for someone famous as a gift. Okay, so I'm just going to turn this. So the person that I am making it for, their birthstone, I think, is tanzanite or sapphire. And sapphire could be, oh, I wrote it down somewhere. You have to Google sapphire December birthstones. Tanner's birthday is in December, my son, and his birthstone is tanzanite. So whenever I make his obsidian necklace, when the obsidian gets here, I gave him pocket stones until, it gets here, and told him, I'm like, keep this on, unless you're around friends, and things like that, because it also aids with spiritual protection. Did you know you can get physically sick if you are spiritually sick? I didn't know that, so I learned something new. There's always room for learning, no matter, what. So I'm just going to hold these wires in place, and then I will bring my thumb up here and bring them on around. And then I'll do the same here. And I'm going to just do the same exact swirliness on this side, just to stabilize the triangle shape some more. You could probably even do another base design like the cross. I might make one like that actually next, and go around the outside of it, and that would be really pretty. So I'm just taking this and I will bring it around. Make sure that it is not like a half round kind of shape. And then I will bring it back through. And then I'm just going to run this other wire right around in the same spot here. And back through. Who is that? South Carolina. Telemarketers? It might be like a person though, because I think I have my phone number listed on my Facebook page. It did have a, oh, what's that one number called? Not Text Now, it was the other one. It did have one of those. WhatsApp. It had a WhatsApp number on there, which was tied to my other phone number, and I changed it, so I might call it back and see who, if it's any, and see who it is. Oh shoot. So I'm gonna probably go over to my other channel for some other spiritual things, and for like healing and stuff from addiction. So I'm gonna trim these right here, and then I'm going to run them right back in behind the base wire there. I'm going to use 2 pliers for this because that tail end's really short. So I'm just trying to work this wire back in behind this top one here. So I'm really focused. So I'm going to trim this. So I'm just going to trim it with just enough wire. Just enough wire so I can bring it on around that main base wire. And then this one here, which is part of the tip of the triangle's base wire, I'm going to bring it out, and then I'll trim it and put a loop in it, I think. Or I might just make it pretty simple and bring it on around. Okay. Flatten these back out. And I'm going to put the smallest bail making adjuster thingy on there. And then I'll bring it on around. And then I'm going to trim these wires right here, just the tips, so that they go straight across. And then I'm just going to bring those in and bring this on around. I want a more elaborate veil on the next one, so I'm probably going to add more wire to the top so that I have more connector wire. Then I'm going to trim this, tuck it under here. And then bring these on around. I'm going to trim these and then tuck them up against this base wire here. Now you can add more wire onto here, but I don't think we need it. Okay, so that part is nice and tucked in. Just make sure that you smooth the edges down as good as possible. I'm going to put a 925 and 999 stamp on the back here, and then like my initials, because I have some letter initial punches. You have to put your piece in, what is that stuff called that you heat up in, what's it called, those little beads? It's like some kind of plastic, so that your design don't get messed up, you know. So I'm bringing that on around just to make sure that all the ends are tucked in nice and snug. And then your chain goes through here. So that's really nice, I think. This will be named the Adam and Eve cross, I suppose, because that's what it symbolizes. I hope you guys enjoyed my tutorial. I'm going to look at your comments. Thank you so much for your comments as soon as I upload this, so I can make sure that I don't miss anyone's comments. If you make this necklace, it can protect you in multiple ways. So, in my beliefs, now you don't have to believe that. It could just be a pretty cross to you, you know it. But to me, it represents Adam and then Eve and the earth and the atmosphere and the universe is protecting Adam, or whoever you want to call this. Alright? Anyways, have an amazing day. Bye!